Okay, this lab is a fetal pig model, so you need the model pieces, which are all in here, tape, scissors, and blank paper. So the first step is cutting out all of these pieces. And we also need to choose a gender for our pig, so I'm going to choose a female. Okay, so now we will glue the base down and start putting on the feet. Okay, the next step is finding the head dorsal and head internal, and we will glue them together this way so you can see both sides. Okay, so after you glue that, then you find the head dorsal part and you glue it along the bottom right here so you can flap it up like that. So then you can flap it down and see the brain, or just look at the regular. And then next we will get the jaw internal and the jaw ventral and glue them together so you can see both sides. And it should look like this. Okay, then next we will take the jaw ventral cover and put it over the parts of the neck, like that. So then we can plop it down. So now we'll attach these two different pieces together. Okay, next we will take the epiglottis and attach it right in here where it goes on the top. Okay, so next we will take the head and glue it up here. And then it should look this so far. And then next we'll take the kidneys and apply it from the K-tab to the K-tab right here. So then it should look like this. And you have the kidneys here. And they can flop up or down. So the next, since I chose female, we'll take the ovaries and glue it to the R-tab that is down there. And then it should look like this after that step. So the ovaries are right there. Next, we will take the digestive organs. That should be tab 01 and apply it to the O tab right up there. And then once you glue that, it will look like this. And then next, we'll take the lungs here, and it will go right on top of where we attached the digestive organs. And then it should look like this once you get that done, so you can lift that up and look at the top of the digestive. And then for step 13, we take the liver and we apply it to the L tab right here. And it will look like this. And then for step 13, we'll take the heart and glue it on top of where we attached the lungs. And then it will look like this. So the heart lays right between the lungs. Then we will take the thymus gland and glue it right on top of where we glued the heart. And then it will look like this. So we got the thymus right here. And then we will take this part, and rib cage, and we'll cut all these in half down the solid black lines. So after cutting them in half, then you'll glue them so you can flip through that to the muscle to the rib cage. So then after we have these pieces all glued together, we'll fold down the outside T3 tab on both of them and glue them to the T's right here. Okay, so after that, this side's a little crooked, but then you can be able to open up all the different layers and see all the insides. Okay, and next, since mine's a female, we'll take this piece and glue it to the bottom of the ovaries. So then after that, it'll be glued and it'll be right here, and then everything will close up on top of it. And then the last step for the assembly is taking the umbilical cord and gluing it to the top of this piece right here where it says U1. Okay, so here's the final product, and we'll just go through what everything is. So starting with number 1, which is right here is the snout. 2 is the nares. And then 4, right here is the eyes. 5, these are the lower eyelids. And then 6 is that little tiny green part right there. And that is the nictitating membrane, which wipes debris from the eye and keeps the eyes moist. And then next you can open up to right here, and then there's the tongue, the roof of the mouth, the snout is here, and then 40, that green part there, is the esophagus. That's where your esophagus starts before it goes down to the digestive tract, which starts right up here under all this. And then looking here at the inside of the neck, 47 is the mylohyoid, which is the muscle that raises the floor of the mouth, so this one here. And then 49 right there is the thyroid gland, so responsible for metabolic processes. And then 50 is the thymus gland, so right here and here. So the little yellow parts right here. And then 46, these little red muscles here, is the mass eater, which is the muscle that they use for chewing, or that we use for chewing. And then 68A, so this blue one right here, is the internal jugular vein, so returns deoxygenated blood from the head to the heart. And then the one right beside it, so 68B, is the external jugular vein, returns deoxygenated blood from the head to the heart also. And then 77, so this part right here, is the trachea, so cartilage-lined tube that carries air from the mouth to the lungs. And then 78 is the larynx, the voice box contains vocal cords used in making sound. And then looking inside the mouth, you have your epiglottis here. And then 45, which is the glottis, which is the opening to the trachea, passageway for air. And 43 is just the tongue. Starting into the body, you have 10 here, which are mammary glands. They develop to produce milk for youngs and females. So this is what is used for when the piglets need milk. Then opening up here, 31 is pectoralis major, and 32 is the pectoralis minor. Number 8 over here is the thorax. Number 9 down here is the abdomen. And then we've got 33 up here, which is the triceps. 34, which is serratus ventralis. And then at the bottom, 35 is the obliques externus. And then 36 right here is the rectus abdominis. And then here we just have the rib cage, which is all the different names of the ribs. And then we have the thymus here, the heart, and then under those are the lungs. And then we have the liver, and then this little piece right here is the umbilical cord. And since mine is a female, number 12 is the urogenital papilla, which is for females only, covers the opening to the urethra and the vaginal orifice. And then 13 here is the urethra, 14 is the vaginal orifice. And then 17 here, the little green dot, is the anus. Looking into here, we have all of the digestional tracts. So small intestine, large intestine, your stomach here. And then under here, we have the kidneys, the ovaries, fallopian tubes, down to the uterus here. And then we have the kidneys, and then all the way down to the pelvic bones and the spinal cord and the... And then question number 1 is, what is the function of the reproductive system? And it is to produce haploid gametes and basically to reproduce. And question number 2, so the gonads are the testes, and they produce sperm and ova. And then number 3 is the female part is their ovaries, and they produce the eggs. Question number 3, there is the vas deferens, the seminal vesicles, and the prostate gland. And then for question number 5, there is the breast, which are the mammary glands, and the Skene's glands. And then for question number 6, it's important to know all this because everybody has some of these parts that play into reproduction.